He'd been working there for a long time, you know. He'd done a lot of trades. And they managed to find some stuff in there that wasn't good stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about? Stuff he shouldn't have done. I could start to feel fire in my legs now, in my feet. A hot, growing, itchy feeling. A burning. But I didn't move. So, you know, it wasn't the right thing to do. But Deutsche actually took that trader to court for a few things. He hadn't really done anything that bad, to be honest. But they managed to put something together. The case rumbled through the courts for years and years. Do you know what I mean? In and out of court, in and out of court. Real nightmare. That trader, great young trader, he never really got to leave, you see? Never got to have that family. Just courtrooms. Best years of his life. Can you imagine that, Gary? Can you imagine? The case never went anywhere, but he lost all of his money anyway, in the end. Lawyers' fees. All of his money and much more besides. In the end, he was bankrupt. In the end, that guy lost everything. The fire was everywhere now. So was the sickness and that blood taste. I still didn't move though. I looked up at his face. Gary, are you listening to me? Do you understand what I'm saying here? That big round face loomed closer still. Gary, I like you. I think you're a good person. But sometimes, bad things happen to good people. You're going to learn that. We can make life very difficult for you. In that moment, a lot of memories came flooding back. Memories that carried me thousands of miles, away from Tokyo and back to Ilford, East London. I was 18 and sitting on a football, in a dead cul-de-sac next to the railway, as Harry told me that his mum had cancer. I hadn't known what to say at the time. Do you want to play football? I remembered being stood up against the wall of an alleyway on a dark night and watching Saravan as he threatened to stab me. His hands were in his pockets. Did he have a knife? I didn't know. I remembered being chased down streets of terraced houses and jumping over garden fences, and that time that Brathap got run over and the way that his body shook as it lay on the ground. I remembered all the stupid violence and the blood and the nonsense, so much nonsense of the kids on the street, and all the promises that I'd made and the people I'd known. I remembered sitting with Jamie on the top of the multi-storey car park in the night time, watching the new skyscrapers go up around us in our city and telling him that I was going to be somebody someday, promising him that I'd do it. He laughed at me, smoking into the moonlight. But I knew that I would though. So did I. No, I thought, it doesn't end here. Not here in this cold corporate restaurant. Not buried down by the weight of that smile. Part 1. Going up. 1. In some ways, I was born to be a trader. At the end of the street I grew up on, in front of the tall, concave wall of a recycling centre, a lamppost and a telegraph pole stand 4 metres apart from one another, forming the perfect set of impromptu goalposts. If you stand between those two posts, take 10 big steps backwards and stare upwards in between them into the far distance, the light of the tallest Canary Wharf skyscraper will peek over that high wall and wink at you. After school, as a child, I would spend long evenings kicking battered foam footballs in and around those goalposts, wearing battered school shoes and my brother's school uniform. When my mum would come and call me home for dinner, I'd look back and watch that skyscraper wink at me. It seemed to mean some sort of new life. It wasn't just the streets of East London I shared with those gleaming, towering temples of capitalism. There was something else too. Some kind of shared belief. Something about money. Something about want. The importance of money and the knowledge that we didn't have much of it was something I always felt very deeply. In one of my earliest memories, my parents gave me a £1 coin and sent me to the Esso garage to buy lemonade. At some point in the trip, I dropped that £1 coin and lost it. In my memory,